Hi everybody, I hope you're well. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2005 debut studio album from Staines-based indie rock band, Hardfi. At this point, the band's lineup was Richard Archer on vocals and guitar, Ross Phillips on guitar and backing vocals, Kai Stevens on bass and backing vocals, and Steve Kemp on drums and backing vocals. One thing I really love about this album is how they've been able to take the simplicity of indie rock music and turn it into a bit more of an adventurous genre. For example, there's like some synth, like choir sounds. It's not choir sounds, but it's like sort of like a some songs I think Better Do Better, one of the tracks on the album uses some brass. I think it's real, but they usually use like this synth sort of orchestra, which sounds really good, and it really is able to prove how the band are willing to experiment a little bit with their sound, as well as some like, is it the digital harmonicas? I don't know what it's called, but the singer Richard Archer does it live on some of the tracks where he's got like the piano and he puts it in his mouth and the which I think perfectly shows their simplicity being blended with these more extravagant examples of music and production. You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? This album is so catchy. I think it's absolutely incredible. The album was led by the singles Hard to Beat, Tied Up Too Tight, and Cash Machine, which is the first Hardfi song I ever heard. And I think I had some singles after that, but those are the main three singles that pretty much got them out there. I remember I actually first found out about this band and this album. I was somewhere up in Torquay, I think, which is like an hour or so away from where I live. And I was going through a charity shop and I looked at the CD because I thought it looked interesting. I was like, oh, my dad likes this band, because I remember he's talked about it sometimes before. And I knew that he liked indie music, and I knew that that's when I was getting into indie music. Because I grew up with it, but I was really starting to like appreciate it now. And this was like sometime earlier this year. It must have been like June, and I popped it in the CD when I got home, and this was amazing. Cash Machine is such an amazing opener with that slight like jazzy, very very rhythmic, very like stop-start bass line, and it opens with that digital harmonica thing that the singer Richard uses. And it's just amazing. It's such an incredible track, and this album has that sort of like, has a bit of a ska atmosphere, mainly in the verses with like the short guitar notes and the simplistic funky drum beats. And the album captures a lot of that energy pretty much throughout, as well as some gang vocals, but it can get some more experimental as well. For example, in the track Move On Now, it's very stripped down, and features the singer Richard singing a bit more of a higher pitched tone with I think it's just his voice and like piano for like literally 90% of the track, until some like programmed drums come in towards the end of the track. Red light blinking in the twilight, tracing out a path right. And for example, Better Do Better, which is one of my favourites on the album, about like grieving over a breakup, features some really cool brass stuff and nice acoustic guitar elements to it. Tied Up Too Tight is a bit more of an example of like a darker side to the album. It's got a bit more of a grungier, rawer, like a minor key chord progression. It's a bit more like one of the more sinister tracks on the album. It has an incredibly catchy chorus. You can't deny the chorus. Anyone who hears the chorus of Tied Up Too Tight is literally hooked. And one thing that really does stand out to me on this album is the bassist Kai Stevens' backing vocals. I think they're brilliant. Because of Richard Archer, he wouldn't sing in particularly a high-pitched voice, but rather just more like just a voice. You know, he wouldn't really sing with a distinctive lower tone or a higher pitch. He would just sing like in a normal sort of, not monotone, but like normal vocal range. And Kai Stevens usually adds to this with a more higher pitched, could be a falsetto sometimes, backing vocal. For example, Tied Up Too Tight. No, sorry, not Tied Up Too Tight. Cash Machine, or let me check. Living for the Weekend. You know, pretty much every single track has him doing backup vocals on, apart from Move On Now. And I think it's just it's a really good element to the whole album's sound. So It's a really good album. It's honestly one of the greatest indie albums I've ever heard. Just solid. There's not one skippable track on it. And it's just great. It's a really good album, and it's such a strong debut album. If my debut album was stars of CCTV as an indie rock band, I would be literally so chuffed for the rest of my life. It's a great album, and yeah, good. It never really got the recognition it deserved. Neither did the band, but they got a good amount of radio attention and attention from the public when this album came out. Alright then, guys, here's the CD. Hype sticker there, the spine, and the back. There's nothing on the behind of the disc, and I can't be bothered to take it out. It's a cool photo of the band there, I love that. There's Richard Archer there. There's Ross. There's Kai. Steve. And that's that. Quite a simplistic sort of booklet. It's got quite a nice gloss finish. But overall, it's really cool. They're going to be having their next EP, Don't Go Making Plans, releasing this month on November the 15th. As well as like a small UK tour. This is going to be their first music in about like 13 years, something like that. So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, this is a really solid album from a really solid band. I have a lot of respect for them, and they're really good. So overall, this album, I'm not too good with ratings, but I'll give it a solid, like a 7 out of 10. It's just great. Super awesome, super catchy, and songs like Got a Reason and Unnecessary Trouble get stuck on my head all the time. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.